What is up, guys? I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're covering some r/relationships. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description below and along the timeline. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, as it all does help out our channel. Massively, in fact. And just a huge thank you for each and every one of you for being here, for taking the time out of your days to watch these videos. It really does mean the world, and for you to be interacting as well, it just is amazing. So thank you so much. And with that being said, let's get in to today's stories. Much love, guys. Our first story is from a throwaway account. My parents falsely accused my brother of being a creep, and it's really affecting him. My brother is 15, my sister is 17, and I'm 23 female. This is really stupid and it shouldn't have happened, but it did. And now I just want advice how to make it better. Also, this story my brother told me as I wasn't there. He was in his room playing on his phone, minding his own business. He got up to take out the trash. He came back to lay down on his bed, and as he was lying down, he noticed their dog was walking out of his room. He ignored it. Later on, his sister, 17, noticed clothes were missing. She went looking for it and found it in my brother's room. The problem was that it was all wet and slimy. She immediately told our parents and they thought the worst. My dad, mum and brother argued about it. Rude things were said. Apparently mum said I knew you were weird, but not this weird. My dad said I raised a predator. In the end, my parents asked me to pick him up and let him stay with me for a couple of days. When I picked him up, he didn't say anything and just sat in silence. He spent the entire time in the room he was staying in. He only came out for dinner. He skipped breakfast and lunch. His eyes were always red when he came out, so I assume he was crying. I've never seen him cry. Most of the time when he's upset, he just has a stone face, so what they said must have got to him. Finally, at the end of the week, his parents called me to say they wanted to talk to him, so they came over. Before they came over, I tried to talk to him, but he ignored me. When parents came, they apologised to him. Over the week they noticed more of sister's clothes in his room, until one day my dad caught the dog with my sister's clothes. My brother just said okay and went home. I tried to ask my parents if he could stay longer, but they said that wouldn't be necessary. Later on I got a call asking me what did he do over my house, because he's just been in his room all day at their house. Is there anything I can do to help him feel better? Advice would be greatly appreciated. Edit little update, good news, he can stay with me until Sunday. I had to lie a little to his parents to get him to come. I should told him he should get out of the house because he spends most of his day sitting in one spot with online school. They didn't believe me at first, but I said it would be a chance for him to get out of his room. They finally agreed. He was about to go to sleep, so I came just in time. I think the plan is right now just to spend some time with him this week. I'm broke, so it's going to be mostly home stuff. I tried to talk to him on the car ride. I asked him if he's okay. He said he's fine, and we just had a little conversation about his school. So at least he's talking now. He's in the spare room, so everything is okay right now. And then there's a final update, but first let's read the comments on this post to see what people advised. I'm not a wooden duck says, God, your parents are something else. So they're convinced that he's a pervert and clearly wrong about that in the first place, but then make him stay with you, another one of his sisters. I don't know your family, but it would seem like to me they have more problems with him than just that, and that's just awful. He's 15, he doesn't deserve any of this abusive crap. I really hope he starts responding to your text soon. Maybe you could take him out to do some fun things, to show him you know he's not like that. I don't know, it's a really horrible situation. Taylor loves jizz, for fuck's sake. It says, your parents need to apologise to your brother profusely. Beyond that, I sadly have no other advice to offer. I can understand why he's upset. JR Fisher 85 says, your parents broke your brother and accused him of things they can't walk back. I would get him a therapist ASAP. Frogs Legs 12 says, poor fellow, your parents have seriously attacked this kid and think they can just say I'm sorry and everything be fine is mind-boggling. They've destroyed any trust he had in them and this will not be an easy fix. It appears they had their mindset even before accusing him, thanks to your other sister. Yeah, he probably doesn't have much use for her either right now. Your brother needs space and time to heal. Being at home and being made to interact with us right now is punishment, even though they are his parents and sister. If I were you, I'd tell my parents what they did was inexcusable. I'd talk to him one-on-one and see if he wanted to stay with you for a few weeks. He's 15. Being accused of creeping on his sister really put his dent in his self-esteem and self-worth. He needs time to heal. I would also tell him you were there for him no matter what. He will eventually seek affirmation that he's not the weirdo he was labelled. Be there for him. As for your parents, good grief, they need counselling, and your sister probably does too. They made their beds by striking him down so harshly, now they have to deal with it for a while. It's tough being a 15-year-old kid without these accusations. He really got put behind the 8 ball with this situation. God, the bit where the dad said, "I raised a predator," just, oh my word, what an absolute idiot. That poor kid, man. Not recognising that dog slobber is like spunk. I mean, come on. Let's have a look at the update post, so hopefully we get some positive clarity here. Wow, and it's a long update, so strap in. So I've been asked to update the situation. Many of you asked that I let my brother live with me, but I had to take him back to our parents' house this morning. The last update I gave when my brother was allowed to spend the week at my house. That was last Sunday. We spent the first Monday at my house just talking. He spent most of the time in the room. At first he wasn't responding back. It was going nowhere quickly. So I ended the conversation by telling him our parents were wrong and that he is not weird. I didn't say it exactly like this, but I hope you get the point. He just had a stone face and we stopped talking. Tuesday, he didn't really come out of the room. I offered to go to McDonald's and he came out of the room to eat at the table. We just talked about random different things. He wasn't really interested in the conversation until we started talking about my Xbox. We eventually started talking about Madden. He started talking about how good he is at the game. We finished eating, then he went back in his room. Wednesday, I bought Madden. I don't play sports games. I play games like Cuphead or cartoon animated games. I asked if he wanted to play and he agreed. I know this is serious, but Madden absolutely sucks. The game started cheating as soon as we started. The first thing my player did was fumble the ball. He was killing me at it. He actually laughed a couple of times and he seemed to be enjoying himself. We spent a good portion of the day just playing. Thursday was pretty much the same as Wednesday, but he was talking more. I was going to go to the movies, but COVID is still a thing. We eventually just settled to watching Netflix. He spent half the day in his room, but he's coming out more. Friday, I decided to try and talk to him about the situation again. I pretty much told him I would talk to our parents to get them to understand why he was hurt by it. I also took the advice of seeing if he wanted to talk to a professional. He asked me not to ask them about it. He said it was just better if nobody brought it up again. I was a little shocked, but there's not much I could do. We then decided to go to a walking trail. At first he didn't want to go, but I convinced him to come. We just spent more time talking. This also made me realise that I should talk to my siblings more often. He seemed happier. Saturday or yesterday was pretty much us just talking again. We decided instead of Madden to just play random games I had. I don't have a lot, but I think he had a good time. When it was dinner time, he got kind of quiet again. I asked him what was wrong. He said he wasn't ready to go back home yet. I didn't know what to say. I asked him if he wanted to talk to our parents to see what we could do. He just said no again. I pretty much told him he could come to my house anytime he wanted to. That leads us to today. He's back at his house. I was going to talk to our parents, but I assumed he has a reason for not wanting me to talk to them. I know you guys said something about getting him a therapist, but he said no to the idea. I did call my sister to see how she's doing. She said she tried to apologise to brother, but he ignored her. I don't know what's happening with that, but one thing at a time, and that's pretty much how the week went. Overall, he seemed much happier than he was last week. I text him and he wants to come back over sometime next week. And I've just got to say in this one, what an amazing sister to take the time to look after your brother the way you're doing it. And you're letting him take his time to sort of rebuild himself, rebuild his confidence. I'm not sure if that's the right way of going about it or not, but it sounds amazing to me. And it sounds like you're just an amazing person for doing this. So well done, you OP. What do you guys think of this story? How would you have handled that situation if you was the sister or the brother? How would you have dealt with those parents? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from a throwaway account. My 40 female husband, 39 male, admitted to me that he'd been cheating on me with his cousin for a majority of our marriage. My husband's cousin recently was killed in a car accident 3 weeks ago. This has made my husband visibly depressed and a lot less like himself lately. Tonight when I got home from work, he had our 2 kids go spend the night at his mother's place and had made us dinner. After dinner, he sat me down and told me that I needed to prepare myself for what he was going to say. He then proceeded to tell me about his affair. To sum things up, he essentially had been doing sexual things with his cousin since she seduced him when she was 13 and he was 16. The sexual activities went on through their adulthood up until he started to date me. After we got married, things didn't happen between him or his cousin until around 4 years into our marriage, when she supposedly convinced him to continue their sexual activities on the side. We've been married for a little over 15 years for context. This has continued up until 3 weeks ago, as you can imagine. He told me to take it as I will and he'll accept anything I choose to do considering our marriage. His cousin apparently was a lot more than just some sex fling. I've never would have expected my husband to be cheating. He never did anything that would give it red flags, like coming in late or leaving hair of another woman around. I'm still at a standstill and not sure where to go from here. I haven't been able to say anything to him after he was so blunt about it. I'm still crying some now. I don't know where to go from where. Any suggestions are welcome. Damn. All those years she's been cheating, and why? I don't understand why. I know he should. It's the honest thing to do to come out and tell you that he's been cheating and things, but why is he doing it after she passed away? I mean, it could have been kept a massive secret. And I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do, you know, but he could have done that. He's already been dishonest, so why doesn't he just continue? Why does he feel like he needs to open up now, even though she's gone? I don't understand that. But yeah, in my opinion, I got no time for the cheating thing, so OP should get out of there immediately. That's what it seems like anyway, like he's almost asking for permission to leave. God knows why on Reddit, but yeah, you should get out of there and save yourself from future heartache, because if he's willing to do that with his cousin, you know, he could probably do that with anyone. Just my opinion though. Let's have a look at the comments below to see what they say. Doc Sternu says, your husband is a major arsehole, not only for cheating, but also for not keeping his mouth shut after the affair would have never been found out. His coming clear is not about you, but about him. It's not about saving or repairing your marriage, because your marriage would never have been in trouble without his confession. This is your selfish husband wanting to get consolation for losing his second wife. In all honesty, get a divorce from that asshole. It Hurts Good says, I'm pretty sure you're posting this here for permission to get the fuck out, so here it goes. It's okay to leave him. Get the hell out of there. Had he been caught back then, he would have been charged with sex with a minor and have a lifetime record as a sexual offender. Throw the entire guy in the bin. Edit for all the Americans saying I'm wrong. I'm a Brit, and a 16-year-old sleeping with a 13-year-old is illegal here. It's illegal for two children under 16 to sleep with each other. It is also illegal to sleep with your cousin, which is also gross and morally wrong, might I add. Also, I'd like to point out in his defence, he said to his wife, she seduced me. I'd like to see how that stands out in a court of law anywhere. Dude of Earth says, he married you because he couldn't have her. He's not the guy you married. You need to respect yourself enough to kick him out of your life. And Mike says, I don't think this marriage can be saved. There's a lot of years of deception and with a family member. My advice, tell him to leave immediately. Plan a co-parenting schedule. Divorce, get the house for you and your children. Don't let him take any more than he's already took from you. Years of your life. Don't let him play the victim card. Let him wallow in his shame. He has been struck with the biggest lesson of his life, karma. He dug his grave, let him dig his way out. With time and being away from him, you'll heal and move on. Don't let him slither his way back in. Remember, this isn't a small indiscretion, it's a decade of deception. And OP replies to this saying, I think this might be the best piece of advice I've seen. I don't really know how he'll deal with divorce though. It doesn't matter how he'll deal with it, that's up to him, you know. He's already caused the pain. Let him, as it says, let him dig his way out now. Now, what do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story is from Tomorrow Maybe Today. Friend lied that I cheated. Boyfriend dumps me and kicks me out, but the truth is revealed months later. Please bear with me, this is a long story. I, 26 female, was with my ex-boyfriend, 26 male, for 4 years. We moved in after 2 years of dating and were genuinely happy. I genuinely thought that I was going to marry him one day. I even moved to a different country to stay with him when his job relocated him to Europe. Throughout our relationship, I noticed that one of his girlfriends, 25 female, didn't really like me. I've tried many times to befriend her, but I gave up after constantly being on the receiving end of her cold shoulder and snarky remarks. Ex knew about this and told me that she didn't have that many girlfriends and probably didn't know how to be friends with another woman. She's the only woman in their clique of 7 guys, who are all lovely to me. On 31st of December 2019, both of us attended a party to celebrate New Year's. I don't drink, so I was completely sober. Ex got completely smashed. The next afternoon, I woke up to my stuff packed and him telling me that we're done and that I had to move out. I was completely blindsided and so confused. He accused me of cheating on him. I would never do that. I think it's such a terrible thing to do. I remember crying so hard and telling him that I did no such thing, but he still kicked me out. My best friend and her boyfriend, without hesitation, opened up their home to me and told me that I was welcome to stay. Bless their hearts, they're the sweetest couple ever. During that dark period of time, I was trying to process everything. I was honestly so depressed. I couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, I felt like a zombie, like I was barely existing. I told my family what had happened and they were very upset for me and wanted me to fly back home. They lived in a different country and I didn't want to travel during a pandemic and potentially put them at risk of catching Miss Ronus. While this was happening, all of our mutual friends and his family members turned against me, choosing to believe that I was a cheater and completely cut me off in support of my ex. They supported shady stuff about me online, calling me a hoe and a cheater. Rumours started to spread and it affected me so much I deleted all social media and blocked all of them everywhere. I just wanted to disappear. As time went on, I was one day introduced to one of my best friend's friend. He was really sweet and kind. We slowly became friends, started chatting and video calling. Fast forward to June and I feel myself slowly falling in love with him. He doesn't believe what so many people say about me being a cheater and whatnot. He asked me out on a proper virtual date and I agree. We started dating and I'm so happy. I feel like he is the light at the end of my tunnel. Well, yesterday someone from my ex's clique leaked a video on Instagram where ex's girlfriend was boasting of how she lied and came up with this plan to break up X and I. She apparently paid someone to lie to my ex and tell him I seduced him at the New Year's party and slept with him. Once that came out, a lot of my ex's friends and family members have been trying to contact me. They tried contacting my best friend who basically told them to F off. My ex came to the house and was begging for me to speak to him. It was really dramatic, lol. I don't feel like I owe any of them my time at all and just want them to leave me alone. However, my parents think that's a little sad that ex is outside the house crying and begging to speak to me. They think that maybe I should give him a chance to speak to me. I feel really conflicted. I feel like I'm being too harsh on him and his group of friends. Should I establish a line of communication? What should I do? My first thought on this one is like, he didn't give you no time to explain yourself. Why should you give him time to explain himself now? He's the one that didn't even trust you at all. He just threw you out immediately. So I wouldn't give him that chance either. I'd be really, really pissed off and hurt over that. I say move on with your new partner and enjoy life. But that is just my opinion. Let's have a look at the comments below to see what we can find. Sliverin says, I wouldn't waste my time if I was in your position. He chose not to hear your side and now expects you to give him the consideration he should have given you at the beginning of the year. Like, I understand it's horrible that his friend manipulated everyone and even paid a stranger to get it done, but that doesn't even explain why he wouldn't hear what you had to say. And then for his friends to so easily turn on you, which to a limit I understand, we all want to defend our friend when people treat them horribly, and attack your reputation the way he did, so juvenile and called for. What is this? Middle school? They need a grip on reality. I hate to be so blunt, but if this guy truly loved and cared about you, he would have at least listened to what you had to say. Stay moving on, you deserve better. And Bobby says, hold firm. He was presented with two different versions of events and he rejected yours without even a discussion, without seeming to even consider the possibility that you were truthful. That wasn't right, nor for a serious partner of 4 years. I get you're feeling conflicted, and I would have had a bit of sympathy for a person being played that badly, but he was also an active and willing participant in upending your life, and doing it so callously. You don't owe him the courtesy of even discussion, when he didn't allow you that courtesy before packing your bags. To your parents, that's natural to weigh in, but I tell them you understand their perspective, will make up your own mind on the matter, and don't want to discuss the topic up with them again. And High Tech says, you're alright now, right? Why open the door to trouble? Your ex will always blame himself for what he did and ask you to come back to him. He chose to believe someone else instead of choosing his girlfriend of 4 years. Wash your hands of this matter and follow your friend's example. If I were you, I would tell your ex, I'm happy that you finally learned the truth. However, our relationship ended when you chose to believe someone else. I am happy now, so please go on with your life. I think that is the best way to put it. What do you guys think of this story? Let me know in the comments below. Once again guys, I hope you enjoyed today's stories, and if you did, you know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe maybe, and join us on the next video. Thank you for being here. Much love. Goodbye.